looks that has been requested is just a really natural, easy look for anyone to be able to do. So I just thought I would do that for you now. First thing to do is prep your skin. So a nice moisturiser, get rid of any dryness on your skin. Preferably cleanse and tone your skin first before you apply makeup. Give that a good rub in. Second step is brows. Alright, just cleaned all my brushes, so just got to find the right brush. So you can fill your brows in if you need to fill your brows in, or draw them on if you don't have any. If you are wanting to keep it super natural, I find the easiest way to do that is just brush them out. I think everyone's brows are ready for sorting out after lockdown, aren't they? I know mine are. Need a good tint and shape. So just brush them out how they're meant to be. And then I use a brow gel if I'm just wanting to do something quite natural and not fill them in. At the minute I'm using Wow Brow by e.l.f. Sorry, everything's backwards because I'm using the front camera. But just fill your brows in with a brow gel. It just defines your eyebrows, adds a bit of colour, but without being too heavy. And it just darkens your hairs rather than being a heavy block of fill. Make sure you can sort of use it to shape your brows a little bit. And it is buildable, which is quite good if you've got faint brows. So just give them a brush. I'm just going to get a mirror. Now, normally, if you're doing heavier eye look, you would do your eyes first before you do your base, so that if there's any spillage from your foundation, you're able to wipe that off before you put your base on. When you're doing a softer look, it doesn't really matter which way around you do it. I'm still going to do my eyes first just because I'm used to doing it that way around. But like I say, when you're doing a softer eye look, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. You can do it either way around. And you're not really going to get a lot of fallout from your eyeshadows. So second thing I like to do is to prime basically my eyelids and put a base coat on my eyelids and cut out my brows, just to sharpen them up. Now I use P. Louise base, and this one is shade 2, and this is a really good, it's almost like a thick concealer which you can use to carve out your eyebrows and to apply a base layer for your eyelids for your eyeshadow to sit on, and it'll hold your eyeshadow a lot better. So all you're doing is just follow the shape of your brow and work it down. Get rid of the line, pat it into your eyelid. I like to use this even if I'm doing a softer look because it makes your makeup last longer. So you don't get that nasty creasing in your eyelids, and it just gives a nice base for your makeup to sit on. So it just brightens the eye. You can say, just gonna do the other eye. You can use a concealer for this. You need to allow it to dry or set it in afterwards. The P. Louise base is quite good because it just stays put and you don't actually need to set it. You can just apply your eyeshadow straight on top of it. So I'm just going to keep this super simple and use sort of eyeshadows and things that you've probably already got sat in your drawer somewhere. I'm also just going to carve out the top of my eyebrows. Just to give them a bit of shape. Same on the other side. Don't have to do this, but like I say, it is a nice base. It just makes your makeup look a little bit more finished and creates a nice base for your eyeshadow to sit on. So if you haven't got anything you could use for this, then you can skip it, obviously. But give it a try and see how you get on with it. Okay, so that's brows done. Look a bit mad right now, but they won't do once we get all the makeup on. So next step that we're going to do is eyeshadow. So I'm going to take a round fluffy brush. You can see that. And I'm going to actually use bronzer for this. You can use a brown shadow if you've got a darker brown shadow that you can sort of lighten. So either something like that or even a bit darker if you wanted to go in sort of one of these sort of shades, and you're going to put that in the crease of your eye on both eyes. The reason I'm using bronzer is just that it's a quick everyday look, and you've usually got bronzer if you've not got an eyeshadow palette. So literally just working in little circles and right into the crease of your eye, towards that outer edge, the inner edge, sorry. Small circles, just keep buffing it out. Nice thing about this as well, you can darken it if you want it a bit heavier, if you want it a bit more glam, or you can wear it really light and natural if you want it just a day look. Change the colour of the lipstick, you can add false eyelashes, you can really dress it up or dress it down. So this, once you've got those about equal, you can, the nice thing, like I say, you can keep darkening or lightening even. If you think, oh, I've gone too dark, you can use a lighter shadow to just bring it back a little bit lighter. So the next thing you want to do, I'm going to take a shadow and blend in this crease colour higher up, so just to get rid of that line. So you want sort of a skin shade type colour, so I'm using this peachy colour here. And you want to use a fluffier brush than what you used in your crease, a bit slightly bigger, so I'm going to use this brush. And just go in just above where you've made that line and blend it out in little circles again. Same again on the other side. I always find it harder doing this side than the other eye. I don't know why my hand doesn't seem to move in the right way. So when you've got that nice and blended, like I say, you can go back in with your bronzer or your darker brown shadow and just work that back in and just alternate between the brown or your bronzer and the skin shade. So at the minute we've not actually got anything on our eyelids, on the actual lid. We've just gone into the crease and slightly above. So I'm just going back in with my other brush and just blending what I've done back out. So it starts creating a really pretty shadow. So the next thing we're going to do is pick a shade to go on our actual lid. Now you can do a few different things with this. If you want to keep it quite natural, just use your skin shade that you've just used on the upper lid. Use that on the bottom lid on here. So that would be quite a natural daylight. If you want to make it a bit more glamorous, you could use a pinky colour, or I'm going to use like a shimmery skin colour, like a goldy shimmery colour, just to give it a little bit more glam. But you can basically blend any colour into your lids. So I'm going to go with this one here. So it's quite a light colour still, but it's got a bit of a glisten to it, a bit of a shimmer. I'm just going to take a flattish brush and pack that on right across my lid. I want to keep it quite bright, so not too dark. A shade. Again, you can darken this down, or you can choose to keep it quite bright. So that's enough for the sort of look I'm going for. Then I'm going to take my bronzer brush and just blend out now between what I've just done and the crease colour that we put on before. And I just like to smoke that into that outer corner a little bit to give a little bit of depth there. So I've not put any more product on my brush, just using what's already on it. Blend that line out. And a little bit onto the outer corner. And that's basically your eyeshadow look done. Like I say, you can add to this, you can keep it quite simple, or you can add liner, you can add false lashes. It depends where you go in, how you want to wear it. I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of liner across my top lash line. So literally all I'm doing is going along my lashes and pressing up to my lid, right along, so it's not really a solid line as such, just a gentle press. To give my lash line a little bit of definition. So you can just see it just darkens your lash line really compared to the other one. Same on there. That's that done. And then mascara. I'm using the Be Perfect Lengthening Gel Mascara. Try not to open my mouth like a goldfish while I'm putting it on. So quite a soft natural look, but you look like you've made an effort, which is quite nice. Not that we've got anywhere to make an effort for while we're in lockdown, but it makes you feel better sometimes. Okay, so that's the eyeshadow done. I'll go back and do my bottom lashes after I've just finished off under my eye. The same base that I put on beforehand, I also like to take a bit of a bigger brush and just pop that underneath my eye. It just helps set any makeup that you put under your eye so you don't get panda eyes, as most of us often do. So just pop that right under there. I'm then going to take a really small pencil type brush and go in with my bronzer again just underneath. I'm using a Body Shop bronzer at the minute, which is, I think it's called Shimmer Waves. As you can see, it's very well loved and I've had it for quite a bit of time. But it's got a nice shine to it, and it's not too, because it's got a few different colours, you can choose which colour you pick up basically. So I'm literally just putting that right along, not quite to the corner, but right along that bottom lash line, just to deepen up under. You can't, it doesn't make a massive difference, but it just finishes off your eye look, rather than just leaving it completely empty underneath. So I'm going to do the rest of my face now, and then I will go back and put my mascara on my bottom lashes after I've done my concealer and foundation, etc. So the next step for me is concealer, and again at the minute I'm using e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish, which I got from Superdrug, I believe. It's a really good concealer and really reasonable priced as well. So quite like a lot of the e.l.f. products. They are good value for money, but the foundation's really nice, and they do a lot of different shades. So I like to put concealer on my cheeks, well, pretty much everywhere basically. I have a lot of redness around my cheeks, so I like to get rid of that, as much of that as I can before I put my foundation on. So just pop that on. Use a fluffy brush just to blend that in. You can use a beauty blender for this, but I find it's quicker just to use a fluffy brush. Well, the other thing is the moisturiser that I used at the beginning is like a priming moisturiser, so I've not put any separate primer on. But if you have got a primer and you like using them, it's good to prime your face before. You can either put your moisturiser on then a primer, or pop, if you've got like a 2-in-1, you can use that obviously. But it's good to prime your face before you put on your face makeup, so that you don't get any unwanted imperfections. So I'm using the e.l.f. foundation, Flawless Satin Foundation, and I'm just going to use a dampened beauty blender to apply it. Again, if I'm in a rush, a beauty blender is quite quick and easy way to apply your makeup. So I'm using the same brush that I applied my concealer with, and just taking the foundation, dotting it on. And then use my beauty blender to blend that in. Because I already primed my eyebrows, I can just go up to where I primed and sort of blend that in, so I don't have to get too close to my eyebrows, so that makes it easier for blending your makeup in, rather than trying to carefully brush around your eyebrows. So that kind of takes that step out. Under my chin, down onto my neck a little bit, I usually go. Okay, so the next step, now we've got that on, you can either bake your makeup, which I know a lot of you will be like, what is she talking about? So using a setting powder, clear translucent setting powder, you can just lightly dab that on in the areas where you're likely to sweat or your makeup's likely to run. So mine's sort of under my eyes and under my nose. Then I tend to do it just along and above my jawline, so that you can blend in your bronzer better. You've got the powdery consistency to blend it in. Along there. So next we're going to do bronzer. Same bronzer that we used on the eyes. I'm going to use this brush for my bronzer. Starting, you suck your cheeks in. Not that I've got much going on at the minute, but starting at the highest point, you sort of your temple area, and working it down, bringing it down along just below your cheekbone. And again, with your bronzer, you can go as dark or as light as you want to. If you want it a bit heavier, a bit more glamorous, add a couple of layers. If you want it more natural, just do the one. So I start there for my bronzer, bring that down, then I just go along my forehead at the top and under my chin, just to define under there, under my nose, down the side, everywhere basically, mainly. So after I've done that, got that blended as much as I want to, I then go in with a blush and just blush my cheeks slightly. At the minute, quite like a sort of peachy pink blush, and I don't like a lot of blush, but it does add, it just makes you look a little bit more fresh face. So just sort of dab that in, work up to where you started with your bronzer on your cheeks. Same on the other side. And I like to get the beauty blender and just go back over with that, not putting any more product on, but just go back over and make sure you've not got any lines. Make sure it's all blended out basically. And final step for your face is, if you want to, again you don't have to, but I think it just finishes off the look and it really makes you look glowy, and it's nice for day or night, is to highlight. So I'm using the highlight in the Carnival palette. These three are all highlights. I'm going to use this top goldy lightest one and just go along your cheekbone and just see it start to shine. You don't want to go too heavy, but just basically put it where the light would catch on your face. So put a little bit on your nose, I want to put a little bit on Cupid's bow, and then go back in with a small brush and just take a little bit and put it under your brow bone. So you can get different types of highlight powder ones. You can get liquid highlighters. I find powder ones easier to apply, especially if you're not used to them. You do not need a lot at all. So you can just dip in and you can again build on them, add on them. You can just see the shine there with it. I don't like it too heavy. Obviously you can add more if you want it more, glam. And then I just again go over with my beauty blender just to dampen it down a little bit. The other place I like to pop a bit of highlight is in the inner corner of my eye, and that just brightens up your eyes. So just literally right in there, and it'll just tie your makeup look in as well. Just sort of that upper brow bone, but it just brightens up that inner corner there. And just need to pop on bottom lashes. Like I say, I'm probably just going to put a nude lipstick on with this, but if you want to dress it up, you could do a red lip with it. You could use a darker brown shadow in your crease to make it heavier, or if it's just more natural, just stick with sort of a nude lip. You can also, pulling faces, sorry, add false eyelashes if you wanted to make it more glam. Always manage to smudge underneath. So that's a completed look. For the eyes, just add lip colour. I love Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink. It's like, it goes on like a gloss, but it sets like a matte lipstick basically. And this is shade 65, which is a really nice shade for most people. And I don't find that I need a lip liner with it. It literally stays put for as long as you leave it on basically. Do get a bit of transfer onto like mugs, cups when you drink, but it doesn't tend to go off your lips. The colour stays saturated on your lips. So I can highly recommend those. So that is the look complete. Natural day, glowy eye look. And again, like I say, have a play about with it, give it a try, send me a picture when you've given it a go, and if you do any variations on it, if you dress it up or just do it like this, let me have a look. If you want to see any other looks, let me know, and I'll see you soon.